Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to try and demystify the, let's be honest, pretty complex world of ESG software. If you've ever felt like you're just lost in a sea of acronyms and reporting demands, you are definitely in the right place. Let's just dive right in.
So, first things first, let's set the stage. Why does any of this matter so much? Well, how about this number? $53 trillion. That's the forecast for ESG-focused assets under management by 2025. That's expected to be about a third of all assets managed globally. With that kind of money on the line, the pressure to get ESG reporting right has, well, it's never been higher.
And that leads us right to the big question, doesn't it? If this is all so important, why is it so incredibly complicated to actually do? It's a feeling a lot of organizations have. You know you need to do it, but figuring out how to do it is just this massive headache.
Yeah, this slide just nails it. We're calling it the ESG reporting maze, and it perfectly captures the frustration. Companies are dealing with reporting fatigue from a blizzard of conflicting frameworks. There's no single set of rules, which makes comparing apples to apples basically impossible. And get this, to make it all worse, if you have missing data, it often just gets coded as a zero, which can totally warp the reality of a company's performance.
But, where there's a maze, people show up offering to be your guide. And in the ESG software world, three major types of solutions have popped up, each one promising they're the best guide for what you need. So let's meet them. So we can think of these solutions as three different archetypes, right? First, you've got the GRC titans. These are the big, established players whose roots are in governance, risk, and compliance. Then you've got the climate scientists. These are the deep specialists, totally laser-focused on carbon and environmental data. And finally, you have the holistic strategists, the ones who try to bring everything, E, S, and G, all under one strategic roof. And this table here really lays out the trade-offs perfectly. The GRC titans, think Workiva, are all about audit-proof data. That makes them perfect for big public companies trying to minimize risk. The climate scientists, like a Persephone, they offer this incredible depth in carbon accounting, especially for that super tricky Scope 3 stuff, your entire supply chain's footprint. They're for businesses where decarbonization is priority number one. And the holistic strategists, well, they're for organizations that want to manage E, S, and G all together as part of their core strategy.
Okay, so to make this all feel a bit more real, let's zoom in on one of those holistic strategists and use them as a case study. We're going to take a look at a company called Seymour and see exactly how their approach works in the real world. So Seymour is a Portuguese company, and they have a really specific identity. They're a certified B Corp, which is actually a key part of their story. Their main platform, it's called ESG Maturity, and it's designed not just to spit out reports, but to actually turn sustainability work into real, measurable business outcomes.
So here's what's really crucial, their dual value proposition. On one hand, they are totally focused on helping European companies deal with complex new rules like the CSRD. But on the other hand, they go way beyond just compliance. Their platform gives you an ESG maturity score and even scrapes public data to see what your company's reputation looks like out there. It turns reporting from mature into a strategic tool for managing risk and spotting opportunities. And this is really where that B Corp status becomes more than just a fancy label. As the analysis points out, it means Seymour's own mission is aligned with the service they're selling. For clients who really care about working with partners who share their values, this builds a huge amount of credibility and trust right out of the gate. But hey, no strategy is perfect, right? Every single choice you make involves a trade-off. So to really get the full picture, we have to look at the hurdles Seymour is up against because of the choices they've made in their design. Okay, here's the first big trade-off, data integration. Seymour gets their clients started with a simple, easy-to-use questionnaire. This is fantastic for smaller companies or maybe ones just dipping their toes into ESG because it makes getting started so much easier. But their big competitors, the GRC titans, they use these automated APIs that plug directly into a company's core systems. That's built for massive scale and real-time data, something a questionnaire model might really struggle with as a company gets bigger and more complex. The second hurdle is technical depth, and we're talking specifically about those Scope 3 emissions, the carbon footprint of your whole value chain. Now, Seymour covers it, but their methodology isn't as detailed as what the climate specialists offer. Competitors like Greenly, for instance, they boast unmatched Scope 3 accuracy, using these giant libraries of emission factors. That kind of deep specialization is a huge competitive advantage in the climate-focused world.
And finally, we've got the auditability challenge. With new EU rules coming down the pike that will require formal audits of sustainability data by 2028, having a rock-solid, verifiable audit trail is quickly becoming a non-negotiable. And this is the home turf of the GRC titans like Workava. Their platforms are built from the ground up to handle the kind of scrutiny you'd expect in a financial audit. For any platform like Seymour, proving they can match that level of rigor is a huge challenge. So after walking through the maze and meeting the different guides, how do you actually pick the right tool for the job? Well, it really all comes down to one thing: matching the platform to your organization's #1 priority. This table just lays it all out so clearly. If you're a big public company, Workiva's audit-ready GRC integration is what makes them stand out. If you're all in on climate targets, then the super high carbon accuracy of a Persephone or Greenly is their killer feature. And if you're an EU-based company looking for a strategic all-in-one tool, Seymour's ESG maturity scoring is their unique strength. Now this tells a really interesting story about the market. You see Workiva sitting around a median cost of $61,000 a year, Persephone starting at $55,000. But Seymour's pricing? It's a strategic question mark. And what that suggests is that they're aiming right for that massive gap in the mid-market. Those companies that need a really robust solution, but just can't stomach the huge enterprise price tag. Okay, so here it is, your final takeaway, a simple decision guide. If your absolute top priority is auditability and plugging this into risk management, you should be looking at a titan like Workiva. If it's all about deep carbon science, then you need a scientist like Persephone. If you're in the EU and you need a single platform that balances compliance with strategy, Seymour is literally built for you. And hey, if you just need a quick and easy carbon footprint to get started, Greenly is a fantastic entry point.
And that leaves us with one last question, something for you to think about for your own organization. When it really comes down to it, what's driving your ESG strategy? Is it just about compliance, checking a box? Is it about competition, making sure you keep up with everyone else? Or is it about real conviction, a genuine belief that this is core to who you are? Your answer to that question will tell you exactly which guide you need to navigate the maze. Thanks for tuning in.